Hello and welcome to the Giraffe Social Media Podcast. It's what social media managers are talking about. I'm Kaitlin McKenzie and today I'm joined by some lovely members of the Giraffe team. We've got social media manager Nicole.
Hi.
And social media assistant Chloe.
Hello.
So happy coffee break, everyone. If you're anything like me, you must feel like you're on January the 70th. By this point, it's been long, so I'm sure we are all well in need of a little coffee break. As always, in our coffee break episodes, we will bring a topic to the table that we want to have a chat about and get each other's thoughts on too. Over a cuppa, of course. Today I'm working with a little black coffee with a little sugar-free vanilla syrup. Just treating myself, living my best life. But to start us off, I have got a question. So, guys, would you rather be immune to the virus from tomorrow or get £5,000 tomorrow? Thoughts? Nicole, what would Nicole do?
I think the right answer is to be immune, right? So then you can no longer have to worry about infecting other people. You're a good person in society. However, £5,000 is very nice, and I can just isolate for a while until it's my turn for the vaccine. But I feel like I'd have to go be immune, right? I have to be a good citizen, surely.
See,
right?
I don't know, because like in my head, I'm like, well, if it's just me that's immune, does that help anyone else? So like, is it that sad if I'm not immune and I also get £5,000? Found a loophole in my own question. So I think, I'm not gonna lie, I'm used to it now. If it was like, I mean, obviously I engineered the question, but if it was like, if everyone else in your family was immune, maybe I could go without the 5k. But I'm thinking, if it's just me, I'm used to being at home. I'm sure I can occupy myself for another 6 months or however it takes the NHS to get me mine. Obviously not a priority, which is fine. So I'm gonna take the £5,000.
Yeah, man, I agree. Give me the 5k. I don't need society. I just need, money and a laptop, and I'm sorted for the next 6 months at least. By then, I'll have a vaccine. So, sorry,
Sure.
Nicole, I'm taking the $5,000.
I feel like we're on a really strange low stakes game show.
That's true. But at least one of us, as long as one of us has opted for, the moral choice.
Yeah, you took one for the
Kaitlin,
team.
you and
Yeah,
I can get away with it.
I did. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome.
We could get like a hot tub or some sort of cool setup, I'm sure. Or like maybe spend it on a trip, like post quarantine to reward yourself for like that selfless act of staying home for another 6 months. Oh man. Okay, well, let's jump into our topics that we want to talk about today. So, Chloe, tell me, what is it you're thinking about this week and want to share with us on our coffee break?
I mean, it should come as no surprise that I want to talk about Zayn again for probably the 5th time on this podcast, as unrelated as he is. But my king has released an album last week, which is like pure perfection. And I just wanted to share that with you guys because he's not the best at promoting on social media about his, his achievements. And that's okay because I am here to tell
to
the
spread
people.
The word.
So had any of you guys listened to his new music?
I have.
I didn't actually know he had a new album. Oh, sorry, it's
That's
just
okay.
me. That can be my homework.
2 out of 3. No,
I think he's very good.
Yeah, I mean, he has probably, I would say Harry and Niall have the best, I guess, mainstream kind of sounds. But I have to say that Harry and Niall have huge social media presence, right? And their team behind them are very good at promoting new music and whatever they're doing. And it just breaks my heart because my boy, his music's up there, but it's just, it doesn't have the backing of whoever his team is, and I just don't get it. That's what social media is there for. He has the most followers out of any of the boys from the band, and he's just not using them.
I feel like he's such a private guy, it seems,
Yeah.
right? You don't really see too much from him, so maybe he doesn't want to get involved in that stuff, and maybe that's part of the allure. It's cool that it's mysterious. I only found out because I got a notification from Apple Music that said like Zayn has a new album, so they're doing the work for him. So
thank you, Apple Music.
Apple Music. But yeah, if I hadn't have seen that, I probably wouldn't have just like, oh, I'll just put that on. But what does make me laugh about Zayn, and I'd love to ask you this, Chloe, what is up with his sponsored posts with Harry Potter? Because it's the only type of like ads he does. Like, he's not a celebrity who does like paid posts and like sponsored posts, but he does promotions for a Harry Potter app, and I need to ask you about this, Chloe.
No, this is the thing. I have like a running joke with my friend. Every time he posts about Harry Potter, we immediately like send that post to one another. But it's so strange, right? I'm like, babe, if you just promoted your music, you wouldn't have to take these sponsorships. You'd be making money off your streams. So it is
funny.
totally bizarre to me. But like, speaking of apps, have you tried this Harry Potter app? Like, what game apps do we have on our phone, guys?
I must admit, haven't tried the Harry Potter game. Caitlin, are you looking at his...
Caitlin's
I'm
live
looking, at, I'm
searching.
looking at Zayn's profile and just like, I'm not ready to move on.
So good.
He has 38 million followers, and the only sponsorship deal he does is with this Harry Potter Wizards and Spells, and it's just little pictures of him and his little character.
His little emojis.
I'm
Yeah.
shook. It's I guess it's like the right demographic, right? 'Cause,
Well,
like,
that's his niche, right? He is like the mysterious boy that's into art and like anime and cartoons. So I'm not mad at it. I just want to know why.
It's so funny. And like you said, Chloe, like, I think he posted one today or yesterday, and that's like a week after his brand new album has come out, and that's what he's posting about.
Yeah,
versus
and
that.
also like the day his daughter was born, he posted a Harry Potter sponsorship. Like,
It's so funny.
do you think it's him, or do you think he has like a team? I mean, if he does have a team, they're not doing enough, obviously.
yeah,
but,
don't get me started.
Maybe he needs an agency. Just saying.
Yeah, Zayn,
On behalf of Chloe.
I know you're listening. Hit us up.
But yeah, you asked a great question there, Chloe, which I would love to bring to the team. It's something that I'm really interested in as well, especially over like lockdown. I've gotten very into like using. Oh well, I've stolen this concept from a meme that I saw somewhere. But there's like, you're on the medium screen. We're all on the medium screens right now, and then after work you go to the big screen and you use the little screen alongside. Right? It's a prison. But that's 2020/2021. So I'm just wondering, like, what games do you play on your little screen? Like, because I occasionally go into like little phases where I get super addicted to an iPhone game, and then I like won't even use my phone to play games ever. At the minute, I'm playing this game called The Dots, which is really cute. It's a little... Oh, no, sorry, it's called Two Dots. And it's really cute. It's just like a simple puzzle game, and you just effectively have to, like, connect the dots. But the aesthetics are so nice, and the colour panel is so nice, and the music they play in the background is really calming. And they have loads of different, like, game functions. So if you run out of lives on this one, you can go and play the other one, and then... I just really like it. I'm immersed. And I had to get something, because before that I was addicted to Tetris. And like, that's a whole scene. Like, there's so many different Tetris apps. And I think once I realised I had 3 different Tetris game apps, I was like, it's too much. There was one point where I like went to bed at night and I could see Tetris, like when I closed my eyes, which is really weird.
I had that too.
Really?
It was some sort of similar to like a Candy Crush type game. We have to like connect the colours, I guess, kind of what you were saying. And every time I'd close my eyes, I could see the connections. So
my brain would
crazy.
like jump into it and be like my brain would just visualize the Tetris board and be like, okay, the straight one goes down there, and then I'd be like, think about something else.
Yeah, I mean, this must be what like dogs see when they have those dreams where they start like kicking and yelping. Like, that's me, but with Tetris. Like,
Have you
Candy
guys
Crush.
so
seen
funny.
The Queen's Gambit?
I've watched a couple episodes.
Well, she has a similar thing where she like lies down in bed and sees a chessboard like on the wall, on the ceiling. So that's you guys.
That's
But like
us.
way lower brow. It's kind of weird that like a digital interface has found its way into my brain. Oh, I don't want to think about that too much.
But really not surprising, right? In
Also
2021, like
Addictive. Yeah, for sure. Did you guys like play more games back in the day? Like, I feel like when phones and stuff came out, and I remember getting my first iPhone, and like apps were everything. So like, I actually had a little Google. There are some games, there are some not games. Please like shout out some more if you can think of some more. But do you remember like the beer game? It wasn't even a game, was it? It was just an app that like
just
played
the
on.
funniest thing in the world.
Yeah,
Everyone
it just
thought it was the best.
It was like, oh, look at me, I'm drinking a beer, I'm 14, way. And there was a lightsaber one as well. I think it was like, it felt so revolutionary at the time. It must be that because it had like that motion detecting technology, and we were like, wow, this does more than Snake. No shade to Snake, but there was like flashlight apps as well, because the iPhones never used to have like a flash on them, so you had to like download an app to make your screen bright. Weird. There was a bubble wrap one, which you just literally popped bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was all we needed back then. Simpler times. Another one I saw which I really, really liked was, I loved back in the day so much, and I remember like being on the leaderboard and being like, I'm gonna be so good at this, I'm gonna be on the leaderboard, and being rubbish. Actually, it was Tap Tap Revenge. I think it was Tap Tap and then Tap Tap Revenge, but it was like Guitar Hero, and you had to like, if you're listening, I'm doing something really weird with my hand, but yeah, that you had to like, you know, tap along to music. Did you guys play any others like that?
I remember in high school, and I guess this was either before the iPhone or like the dawn of the iPhone, but we used to play on people's iPod Touch, and we used to play on the bus to school. We kind of like pass this iPod around the bus and play Temple Run or like things like that against each other, and it was always just one kid who was like rich enough to have the iPod Touch and no one else had it, so it was just, you couldn't do this Corona time, just pass someone's device around. But yeah, that was like prime. Those were the days, the golden years.
Great days.
Yeah, that was a good one. I remember like Doodle Jump, Flappy Birds,
Classic.
all of that kind of stuff. Like, it was so crazy to think how like obsessive everyone got with them, right? Like everyone was playing them at once. We all went through this trend, and then they just disappear. Like, why?
Yeah. What happened to Fruit Ninja?
What
I'm
happened
sure
to
it's
Fruit
still-
Ninja?
Is Fruit Ninja still around? Because I feel like after this, I'm gonna fall back
have
into
to.
it.
I want to see if I can find like the beer app. Like, is it still there? That could be
Yeah.
fun. Well, for about 30 seconds. Also, Angry Birds. That was a good one. We had to like
Yeah.
drag and fling the birds and stuff. Words with Friends. That one's a little bit later on.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
still around. I know for
Yeah.
a fact my dad still plays that.
I think I have like a few historic games with like my aunties. They're like, it's your turn. And I'm like, it's been years.
Aw.
Gosh, there were so many great ones and like super addictive. I wonder, like, are we like more addicted these days or like less addicted? I don't know. Because I think I remember playing a hell of a lot of Fruit Ninja.
Yeah.
But
I think it's crazy how, like, back then, that was the excitement to, like, download games, and it was really, you know, you'd share it with your friends, whereas now, like, all of my apps are just social media, like, Deliveroo, and, like, clothing brands. Like, if I'm not spending money, I'm on social media, and those are the only two apps I really have. And I feel like the purpose of apps and, like, having an app store on your phone has changed. Like, it's not just to have something else on your phone rather than communicating. It's like, that's why you have your phone, to go on Facebook when you're out, and like to go on Twitter and stuff now, right? It's just so weird how that's like, in itself, it's kind of a game. Like, Twitter is so addictive, and you're scrolling on it for hours. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my screen time is probably really high. Dare I look right now? I'm sure it's embarrassingly high. Oh dear. If I look at, let's look at this week. This week, I have been on TikTok for an hour and a half. And let's face it, we're still early in the week, and that's only going to go up.
oh, it's Tuesday. Yeah.
So, yeah, and then Instagram, then Twitter. Not much Facebook going on here. What about you guys?
I mean, I just literally got a new iPhone yesterday, so mine's, I don't know if it's still up to date, but I'm daily average for the week is already 2.5 hours, and for some reason 2 hours and 57 minutes like is Instagram, so I don't know how that adds up because it's more than my average. But yeah, I know by the end of the week I'll definitely be by like 8 hours. I know for a fact, and it's so shameful.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I have looked at mine. So my daily average on Tuesday is 3 hours and 49 minutes.
Ooh.
Yikes. But like, which is down 39% from last week, but that's
There you
because
go.
there's only been 2 days so far, guys. Don't congratulate me. Yeah. Last week's average was 6 hours 48 minutes, Most
Nice.
used. I spent 10 hours of my life on Instagram last week.
Wow.
That's long. I don't know. But then the thing is, it's difficult for us, right? Because we use it for work. So like,
Yeah, that's true.
I open Instagram like, a good probably like 5 to 10 times a day to do like a solid like piece of work for my job. So,
Yeah.
but there is something in the fact of, do you guys get this as well? Like you pick up your phone to do a very legitimate work thing, and then I'd like to blame it on like the witchcraft of apps and iPhones and that addictive stuff that we all saw in like the Social Dilemma, that documentary from ages ago. I'd like to think that they're tricking me, because then all of a sudden it's like I go into a trance. I'm like looking at really random things, and I'm like on a website for a random shop. I've got an email, I'm like, and then I'm like, I put my phone down, I'm like, the hell did I go on my phone for? And I have to sit, and then I'm like, oh god, I need to post an Instagram story, and I didn't even do the thing that I went on there for.
It's like when you go on your phone to check the time, and when you put your phone down, you don't know what the time is because you forgot to check the time because you got trapped in.
Yeah.
Literally. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only person that feels that way. I've just seen that I spent 4 hours on Two Dots last week. It must be a good one. I also feel like really cheated when like Spotify is on there and it's like 4 hours on Spotify today, and then I realised that I've had my phone like open on charge playing Spotify all day, and I'm like, I've ruined my average, I was down. Or like if I have like a messenger call, and that's like that goes into your screen time as well. So I'd like to think that there is some forgiveness to be found in the numbers, but
Absolutely. I'll take that.
whatever gets you through the night. But yeah, Nicole, I do think like overall we just like use our phones so much more. Like, do you guys do your banking on your phone?
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it any other way. It's like, it's amazing how like these logistical things which used to like you have to log onto the computer or go into the bank or like make a phone call, and now it's all just like there.
Yeah.
Everything you need is in a phone.
Like
Which is
emails,
weird. I think
work emails and stuff, right? Like loads of work apps on there now. Like
Yeah.
literally everything is there.
absolutely, like so I listen to podcasts on there sometimes instead of reading. Gosh, it's taking over our lives. Netflix as well. You don't necessarily like need a TV.
Yeah.
I always watch Netflix on my phone. Obviously the fun games. I do find it really helpful in like some scenarios like this. Like, so for example, like when I'm on a trip or like traveling or like on holiday, the wonder of the modern phone is like amazing. In the fact that you can literally like have who do I even sound like? I'm like, wow, technology. But the fact that you can literally have all of your plane information like right there. You can book a flight and book your next accommodation and like check the weather, email someone about a booking or something. I just think it's so handy. I mean, now I'm getting really trip nostalgic. Where would you guys go? Like, what if you could go on holiday like soon, where would you guys go? I'm really curious. Let's have some wanderlust.
Ooh.
I mean, Chloe, I will be speaking to you about this when I eventually can go, but I really want to go to Australia. Like, that would just be amazing. And like a full proper holiday adventure there, right? But I feel like that's a long way away. So it makes me sad talking about this. What about you guys?
I'm really sorry. I'm torn. I'm gonna like take family and stuff out of the equation because like they're all relatively close by. But I have quite a few friends in Australia too, and I feel like they would be mad at me if I didn't immediately go and see them. And also, not a bad place to go and see them, right?
So true, guys.
How about you, Chloe?
Keep pumping Australia up. I'm here for it.
Would it be your choice as well?
I know my mum and dad are probably listening, so yes, of course. But no, I don't know where I'd go. I think Paris is on the list. I was supposed to go to Paris in September, but then obviously. And I'd also love to go to Greece while I'm here because I know that that's quite an expensive trip from Australia and not as expensive from the UK. So those would be my three.
Very nice.
No, I love that. I also keep seeing people like in South America and stuff doing like amazing think, not right now, but like a lot of people, I follow a lot of travel content, and everyone's obviously going back through the archives. And I keep seeing so much really nice South America stuff, so I'm also thinking maybe that. But then that's like a whole thing, right? That's a big old trip. I feel like I don't want to just go to like Argentina for a week. You want to do it all, right?
Yeah,
At least
totally.
some. Well, guys, I think that brings us to feeds to follow, you know, the little bonus segment at the end of each coffee break episode where we all recommend a feed we think you should be following. So I am happy to go first. This is one that I've spoken about it with Chloe a little bit and actually heard about it on another podcast. So, you know, just paying it forwards. It's called Demois, which I remember hearing about it in a podcast and like trying to type it into Instagram to find it, but spelling it completely wrong, not being able to find it and just giving up. And then I listened to another podcast and they mentioned it on that and I was like, I have to find it. And then eventually I found it. So for those listening, it's spelled Deuxmoi. And they call themselves curators of pop culture. And you pretty much exclusively follow them for their Instagram stories. Like their posts are like, you know, likable celeb content, but their stories are where it's at. So basically people send them, I think this is probably quite a shallow recommendation, but it's interesting, you know, like we need to find some like joy in our little lives. So basically people send in anonymous tips and like blind items about celebrities, and so often the things that come up in the Instagram stories end up being true and like getting released on mass media, but you always hear about it first on this page. And quite often the things I see on this Instagram story and then the next day they're trending on Twitter because like stuff's
wasn't that like the whole big uproar about James Corden being a terrible person? Didn't that kind of come from Demois?
Yeah, it did. There was a lot of people. I think like sometimes they kind of suggest a topic or a pattern emerges and they share loads of stuff at the same time. But there were a lot of unverified, we have to say, for podcast reasons, unverified fan
stories.
accounts. Yeah, of like when they'd seen James Corden doing, or like they'd said hi to James Corden and he had not said hi back in a very nice way. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff on the internet about this. So if you want to go and have a Google, go and have a Google. But exactly right. There was recently loads of stuff about Armie Hammer. Like it's just, it's you never know what's going to be on there. So you know what? We haven't got like real people in our lives to gossip about really right now. So let's go see what, it's quite funny to see what the pretty people are doing, you know, and celebs. So yeah, that is my recommendation. Du Moi. Chloe, what's yours?
Ooh, tough act to follow. Mine is, I thought I'd pick a semi-related topic since we are a social media podcast. My recommendation is the Instagram account and LinkedIn as well. I think they're across all social media, called Girls in Marketing, which is like just this really brilliant community of like women who work kind of in the marketing industry, who are sharing like tips and experiences and where you can like go and get like internships and experience and things like that. And I followed them on LinkedIn for a while, but I recently followed them on Instagram. It was kind of last week, and it's just this really pretty aesthetic like pink feed with like tips and like girls, and it's just like a really nice kind of, I guess, for people who work in that industry. It's just like a nice thing to follow and, you know, gain industry knowledge.
That's such a good one. I love them. They're so good. They've really been like growing recently as well. I think they may even have like their own merch or something now. They do so many cool things. I think they do like webinars as well, and like how to improve your CV, and like so many cool things. So love them.
Wow, I literally just followed them on LinkedIn and see the occasional post. I did not know all of these things. You say they're on Instagram?
Yeah, I think they're also on TikTok, if that is your preferred platform. So
down with the kids, I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I do think it's nice when it's easy enough to follow like a women in business kind of page, and you're like, yeah, I know I should be following this, but it's nice to sort of have like a treat for your eyes as well. Like I love a strong aesthetic.
And it's also not like an intimidating, like some, I guess, like women in business like platforms can be a little bit like, she's so amazing, like I'll never be there, but this one is really like truly there to uplift and like help you get to that level. So it's nice.
Yeah, no, I really love that. Nicole, how about you? What's your feed to follow this week?
Yeah, Kaitlin, I'm kind of going to go with you on the celebrity gossip front.
Oh.
There's an account called Comments by Celebs, and it's just screenshots of comments by celebrities on other celebrities' posts. And that's always funny because I feel like you just forget. And we were talking about Zayn, right? Like, he's a guy too, probably isn't that good at Instagram, just trying to figure out what to do. And it's just so funny. Like, some of the interactions between different celebrities is amusing. And it's kind of like when there's like a film and like two really random actors come together and you're like, wow. And then you kind of get that on social media as well. When you see celebrities interact, you're like, from such different worlds. Like, and they're interacting. It's great. I feel like there are loads of unlikely celebrity friendships that we probably don't know about. I feel like one I saw the other day. It's like Rihanna and the guy from Big Bang Theory. Like, they did a film together. Oh yeah, and then I think they're all friends, which is so funny. I love that kind of stuff. That should be a podcast episode in itself. Weird celebrity friendships.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
It's just so funny. But yeah, I'd recommend that account just for some laughs.
I love that. Which guy from Big Bang Theory, quick?
The main guy,
Jim Parsons.
That's it.
Oh, he plays Sheldon.
Yeah.
Because they were in
that.
that.
That is not that's a crossover event. I'm excited about.
They were in that. It was like an animated film a few years ago. She was like the main girl, and then he played this like alien. I can't remember the name of the film, but I think they met there, and they're still friends. Which is so random.
Well, guys, I think that is all we've got time for today. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. You can also connect with us on all major social channels and let us know what you thought. What feeds do you think we should be following? We always love to find some new things to help us spend more time on our phones. So yeah, let us know on all of our podcast posts. We would love to hear from you. We've been Giraffe Social Media. You've been amazing. We'll see you next time.